Hello everyone. This week I thought I would be in my crafting space. You know, this is an honest craft space. There are items everywhere, but this is where I do most of my making, creating, cutting for my Cricut machine, as well as over my shoulder here is a workspace as well as a place to do my quilting. So this week is all about making things with my Cricut Maker. It is one of the Cricut Makers. They make a Cricut Maker 3 now. Mine is a couple years old, and it has taken me this long to be able to figure out some of the things that I've been wanting to do. The thing about a Cricut is you need to practice using it. And I would also encourage you to take a class and watch YouTube videos. I have found a huge community out there, generous people. And Abby Kirsten had a Cricut Maker Fest. So what happened is every day for 5 days, 6 people put out a free class with freebies. You could download the SVGs, watch the video on how to make the project, and then at your leisure, you could make the project. I've had several of these wonderful free classes happen. In fact, over my shoulder, you can see an angel on the wall. That was from a couple years ago. I learned how to make layered art with Jennifer Maker, had a Maker Fest. So it's wonderful. If you find these, there is no gimmicks about it. What happens is if you want to buy the whole festival to watch at your leisure forever, plus a whole bunch of other freebies, then what they do is they sell a pass, a VIP pass, for usually not that much money for all of the education. But I was able to work it in my schedule and watch all of the classes. So the first thing that I wanted to do was to make paper roses. And I had a shadow box with a sticker on the glass, but I wanted it to pop more. And I wanted to make paper roses. And you know, I learned all about sizing the roses, because I'm going to point out some things. That these roses are too small, and so I made bigger ones. But I thought, you know what, this is just an experiment, so I'm going to go ahead and finish making it. I used cardstock, and I glued them on a glittery cardstock on the back, and it makes my rainbow that I purchased on Etsy just pop. You can buy lots of lovely stickers on Etsy. But I have to say, there's a trick always to everything you do, and I bought a quilling tool, and I don't have it here with me, but it's just a small stick with a pronged end with just a small gap in it, and you can stick the paper in and roll it. The other part is you have to start at the tiny end of the most end part, because all of these have a large circle on the end of the flowers, and I thought that's where you started. No, you start in the middle at this, roll it all the way through, and then you hot glue. And I found a great glue gun at Walmart with a great Gorilla Glue stick to go in it. I burnt up my other one. I know, what can you do? I forgot to unplug it, and it was not a nice quality one. So I made my shadow box. I picked this up at Goodwill. Well, more about upcycling. So this was a Goodwill shadow box, and you think I have invested in all of the box, the flowers, the quilling tool. I might have $5 worth of money in the items to make it. But now I have the quilling tool and more paper. So paper. The next thing was I wanted to make these cute little fairy houses. I love fairy houses. I have a fairy garden outside, and this is for the inside. And I want to show you, I gotta be very careful to pick it up here, is my fairy house. Isn't that the cutest thing? I made way more paper roses than I needed. This particular fairy house, you could cut out a million of these daisies. I had a bee pin, so I pinned it to the roof and I glued it on a felt circle. There's a little fence, cute leaf door, but there's something fantastic about this. You can take the lid off and you can put a battery operated tea light inside and the light shines through. You can't see it so well here with my daylight, but let me cover it up. The light shines through the windows. It's so adorable. I have a lot of fairy garden themed decor and spring decor, and it flickers and it's really adorable. I like that you can take the lid on and off. Now the other thing I found out about this is not done this way, but if I make this a little bit bigger, in the middle, I can wrap this house and sit it over top of a wee yogurt jar. I collect wee yogurt jars and I love them. And I thought this would be a great way. It would make the walls much sturdier because I didn't buy a super heavy cardstock. And you could easily pop the light in and out of your wee yogurt jar without having to worry about caving your walls in. So as a first project with lots more inspiration, that's my little fairy house. I'm going to make more. I think I'm going to make one all daisies, and on Cricut Access, which is the subscription portion of the Cricut membership, I pay a monthly subscription. They have lots of rolled flowers with lots of different types of flowers. So those got me rolling from the Cricut Maker Fest. So it got me going on a deep dive about more information. I had all this cardstock and I learned that you can, how to search things, how to find items through a new website, Mr. Crafty Pants. You should go check him out. He has phenomenal education. But because of watching his videos and learning how to do better searches, I decided to make a St. Patrick's Day layered, and with the glare, but I like it behind glass. So what I think I'm going to do is I gently glue this on my glittery cardstock, and I'm going to pop this off. I just used a dab of school glue and I layered it up using just school glue, and then I'm going to change it because Cricut has 15 of these that go with months, themes, birthdays, holidays, all kinds of things, and I love the layered look. They are instant gratification projects. They cut easily, they go together. Pop it in the frame that I already had, and magic. So the other thing that I am really wanting to learn is how to use heat transfer vinyl. I weed it better. I really wanted to do a Starbucks cold cup, but I had trouble weeding it. And if you remember, I think I may have showed that to you. If you want to read more about that saga, I did make a Starbucks cold cup, but I found it on Cricut Access and I gave it to a friend already. You can go to ourcreativesouls.com. No, it's ourcreativesouls.wordpress.com for that blog post. But Mr. Crafty Pants had a great video on using heat transfer vinyl, and I've been in love with the wood slices, and I found that you can get the Cricut heat press information chart. You go to a Cricut website and you can easily find it through Google, and then on it will put what are you using, what's your base material, what kind of heat transfer vinyl are you using, or what product are you using, and it tells you what temperature to set your heat press for, which I was given a heat press. You can see it on my ironing board over there. And I didn't know how to set it very well. I didn't know what was the best way to use the heat press, and I learned a whole bunch of that information on his YouTube channel. So I thought, I'm gonna go, since I had a 4-day weekend planned for St. Patrick's Day. I went to Hobby Lobby, which is the only craft store in my town outside of what Walmart has. I was shocked at the prices. Heat transfer vinyl was like, I got 3 sheets for $12 on sale. Wow, it was very expensive. And I bought wood slices, 4 of them for $6. Overpaid, but I had to have another instant gratification project to get away from my quilting. That will be the next video. But here's what I made. Here is one. I found all of these wreaths on Cricut Access, and this was a completely finished and sanded with the hanger. I think I'm going to take these to work. I have a couple of small places to hang things for decoration, and I picked 4 wreaths that, if you look for the key term floral wreath, I tried to pick one for each season. I think this one reminds me of summer. This one reminds me of spring. This one reminds me of fall. And for some reason, I chose this one for winter. They had some that were holly and, but anyway, I thought these would look great at work. They have a live bark edge, and this is like super rustic. Some of the bark might fall off over time. It's not finished. And I am not putting anything over top of this project. What's interesting is that I could flip them over and find Christmas projects to put on here on the back side, maybe. So I like these as I can do both sides of the project, and the wood grain gives each one its own little personality. You can buy unfinished that were real rough and you would need to sand wood slices, and I'm sure you can find them on Amazon a lot cheaper than what I paid. So I also saw some cute signs using heat transfer vinyl with burlap and laminated paper behind it. So I'm going to try to make a sign out of that. And then the next project I have is trying to figure out how to use my craft knife. So look what I did to my brand new map. I know I picked the wrong setting. So I've been watching different videos, especially from Mr. Crafty Pants, and how to use the knife blade. I had a knife blade. I chose the wrong setting. I made an assumption that everything is the same thickness, and it is not. So I'm going to work on cutting this basswood. I think this is basswood and not balsa wood. Let's look. Bass. Yes. I want to cut this. I want to learn how to cut the wood to make miniatures. So I'm going to start, I think, by making some things. But I learned right away you have to pick simple shapes. So I saw a real rustic, simple house design that you could also put a light in for like a Christmas scene. Or I think house shapes right now, 3D houses is like a box, would look great for like a Ray Dunn type of interior. So that's today's project, and hopefully I can check back in with you on an update with a success on my brand new yet cut strong grip mat. Because what you do is you put this on the strong grip and use painter's tape to hold it down, and then you cut it. The thing with Cricut is that you have to pick something simple, and if you're going to cut basswood or chipboard, it takes a long time. You have to go set it, and it will go around and around the cut layers, maybe an hour. So you have to keep checking on it. So I'm excited because you can make a simple house. Or I also saw some tea light votive holders, and if there's enough of this basswood, I may try to cut some of those out too. So couple projects. This particular piece of basswood was $6.99. So I'm going to look for some more inexpensive options and keep practicing, because there's lots of options. But the most inexpensive thing is using paper. And the thing about paper is you can buy it really nice quality paper out there. So I'm gonna keep doing research, and if you have any ideas, so far this was all Amazon paper, and it's got a nice, I think you can read what pound the paper is. This is a nice weight, but it comes in heavier. Some people for some projects will use like 100-pound cardstock for the tubes, but you know, this is for indoors, and it's going to sit on my shelf with all of my cute spring outfits, spring decor. So that is what I have been working this week, has been quilting hard projects and interweaving on my long weekend these instant gratification projects. I did the house a week ago, and rolling flowers is very zen. I enjoy that. I may make some more of those for a spring project, like a wreath. I have a wreath base that I want to make some things with. So stay tuned for my experiments in using my Cricut Maker 3. I want to say is that I learned is that sometimes you have to sacrifice projects, and it's better, way better, and I'm not good at this, is starting with something simple, like learning how to cut out paper and roses, and then slowly build up to the wood. And I'm going to start with a simple project because I saw a really difficult project out there that I want to make with the basswood. But I'm not going to make that first. I'm going to try these simple house and tea lights before I go to the perpetual calendar. It's so pretty. So anyways, that is my week. This has been all about things that I like to create. I'm Vicki. This is My Creative Corner 3, and I do all kinds of content about my journey with quilting, crafts, creativity, and occasionally about life in my very northern town. I like to make fairy houses because it's still real snowy outside, and it's going to be an awful long time before I can get out and work in my fairy garden. Have a most wonderful week. Be creative, and I'll see you next time.